Right, let's get a couple things set up here. YouTube, we're gonna disable the chat. Grab some links. How's it going, Johnny? Hope you're having a nice day. This one in here. Alright, almost there. There we go. Those things. Lazy day, actually nice. Always a good time. Get a nice lazy day in when it's needed for sure. Let's get one more chat over here, and then I think we're ready. About that. Let's turn off preview here. All right. Okay, I think we're good now. Let me close the last preview there in OBS. How's it going, DJ Devin? There we are. All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. My name is Tim. Have not finished my coffee yet this morning, but I'm getting close. We are continuing on the CircuitPython game jam. So I am gonna work on the Space Miner game that I started yesterday. Here's what we ended up with after last night's stream. We have a pre-game mode, so right now the game's waiting for us to press A to start. We can shoot our laser at the little flying asteroid there. If we hit it, we can collect points for it, and if it hits us, then we lose some of our health in the health bar up there. So we've got kind of the core game loop going. I think today where I'm starting with is I want to make rounds. The rounds will be, I think, maybe 20 or 30 seconds long or something like that, and the rounds will spawn... They'll just continually spawn the ores at a certain rate. Another thing I want to do is make the ores have health like the ship so that you're not guaranteed to capture the whole thing with one shot. You might have to shoot it twice, or you might have to upgrade your laser. That's ultimately what I'm thinking is you'll be able to upgrade your laser to be able to mine it with fewer shots later on. Might need to do some work though. Yesterday's multiple streams revealed that your notification system gets confused as for the video titles. I gotcha. How's it going, C. Grover? Good morning. So that's where I'm starting out today is rounds. And I think to start with, I'm just gonna go like maybe 20 seconds. 20 seconds. And let's see, somehow I want difficulty to be able to go up. So each round will get more difficult as you make your ship better and better. And the difficulty is basically going to be the number of asteroids that spawn and the health of those asteroids. So those two things will go up, and that makes the level more difficult. Because more asteroids means more things to dodge, more chances to get hit by the asteroids. So let's just get a round going and spawning one maybe once every few seconds or something. Let's just start with that and then go from there. So I think what I'll do is make like a start round. Do it before tick. And I guess here, yeah, let's go ahead and just pass these in. Or spawn rate. This will be per seconds. How many or per seconds? Or health. Right now, our ores pretty much just have one health. You shoot them with the laser once and they go away. Eventually, we'll work that in. If I remember correctly, in Galaga, you kind of get penalized for not clearing the level at 100%. It's like a slightly different modifier per missed enemy. It's been forever since I played. Yeah, I was thinking that as well, to have it track the track the ores that you miss. If you don't manage to collect all of it and it makes it all the way off the bottom of the screen, if you don't get hit, then it doesn't hurt you. But yeah, I do think I'll have it like minus your score a little bit. You'll get a score at the end of each level as well. It'll add it up, and the score will just be like a running total. But the actual ore collection, that will be how you upgrade your ship. Start round, so we will want to keep the round start time for sure. Put this on -1 just to signify that it's like kind of null or whatever, hasn't been set yet. And so when we start the round, we will go self dot round start time equals time dot monotonic for now. And then in our tick loop, it's down here, basically going to check the time. So if the current state is playing, if it is time to update based on our frame delay, we're going to have one more if in here. If now is less than self.round start time, let's see, round start time plus, and we'll just say round time. So I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be same time every round, or maybe it gets a little bit longer as the game goes on. I don't know exactly how that will work, but for now I'm going to start with just static. So we're going to say all of this goes in. I guess we don't really need this else, but I guess if we want to put the print back on, we would. We could always add that later. Let's just cut that one out for now. So if it's time, else if now is greater than or equal to, actually, yeah, let's say less than or equal to here. That way it will have to be greater than. Else round end. And so, you know, eventually we'll want to show the score. We'll want to basically go to the shop page where they can spend their ore collected to upgrade their ship. We don't have that page quite yet, though, so what I'm going to do is just say at the round end, we're going to set the state just back to waiting to play for now. Eventually, again, we'll have a different state for the shop, probably. For now, let's just do this. Go back to waiting for play, so that will stop everything from moving. Wait for them to press the A button. While we're there, we might as well go print self.ore collected ore. And we'll do a score, actually, as well. I'll make this ore. Score in the ore. So I don't think I did actually start a score yesterday. Let's go ahead and make a score start at 0. Whenever we capture an ore. Whenever we hit an ore, actually. Right now we're printing captured. Eventually, though, because the ore are going to have health, we might have to hit it more than once. But to start with here... Why is this? Oh, yeah. I need to update my stubs. So here we'll go score... I don't know. Eventually we'll make it based on, like... Each hit will give you X amount of points, and then when you do capture the whole thing, maybe it'll give you a little bonus also. So yeah, let's just go +1 for now. We'll keep it nice and easy. We can always tweak the numbers later. And so here, at this point, captured ore and score are actually going to end up being the same. Let's just see if that does work, though. So we've got a 20-second round. As long as we don't lose, we should be able to play the full 20 seconds. Oh, I don't think that reset. Okay, I was in the wrong project. Let me make sure this has got... Yeah, okay, this is the one with round time. Start the round. Oh, nope, that's not working. Rounds, we need to start the round start. We need to set the round start time when we do start the round, which is when the A button gets pressed. Here. I guess... No, we wouldn't want to do reset. Do we? I don't think so. Right, I guess we didn't... We can just call start round, right? Yeah. Right now we're not doing anything with these. Let's go ahead and save them on self dot or spawn rate. Put that on 1 for now. So start round, we'll say... This is eventually where we're going to be changing this based on the current level you're on, but right now what we'll do is just, let's say we have a 20-second round. Let's say we just spawn 1 every, like, 3 seconds maybe, so that's 0.3. 0.33 seconds per... We could just do 0.3, 300 milliseconds. Per spawn, and then we'll just do the 1 for that. Inside of here, we'll set both of those things. Whoops. So then inside a tick, we can also go, while we're in state playing, you know what we're gonna want, I think, is a def spawn or health. Right now we only spawn one. Eventually, we will probably want to figure out how to, like, reuse these after they fly off the screen or something. Right now I'm going to go super inefficient and just, like, make new ones. And we'll get rid of them, I guess. So spawn or... health. This through, create a new one, put it inside ors. We don't really need a loop over all of these, I guess. Let's go like this. New or equals this. Append it to here. And then we don't really need to loop. Go new or. New or. So now it'll be in our list. It will be actually hidden, yeah, false, I guess, but eventually we'll hide and show it. Maybe that's how we'll reuse them. New or adds it to the list. Does that. Okay. This is looping over all the ors to move them. This is looping over all the lasers to move them. And check for collisions. This one is gonna see if it's time to spawn one yet, so we'll need a last spawn time. So we basically need to be able to go if now is greater than self.last. We'd probably call this last or. Spawn time. How's it going, Dexter? Good morning. Last or spawn time. Plus. So this is where it gets weird. We need to take the spawn rate. So to start with, I wanted 1 every 3 seconds, which means we would basically need to wait for 3 here. So I guess we need to take our spawn rate multiplied by n. Spawn health. So that would spawn a new one. One thing we could do in here as well is, do we change the Y value somewhere? I guess no, because it's just 0, 0. We leave it default. We can change it though. Let's go, let's give it a random X value. Inside. We could do that before we hide it, or unhide it rather as well. Okay. Now I think we should actually start spawning ores over time. We don't spawn one at the beginning. Oh, that's too fast. Oh my. Okay. We spawned ore. Can't really do anything else. We didn't set the last ore spawn time. So we're just spawning them as fast as we can. Turns out it's kind of slow. There we go. Oh, we got 2 that time. Oh. Okay. I think we hit the end of the round. We didn't have TO open, so we can't actually see it. One thing I noticed is it slows down the more things there are, which kind of makes sense, but I wonder if there's anything to be done about that. Well, for one thing, I guess, this is kind of a lot. I don't necessarily envision having too many on the display at once. Another thing I guess we'll do maybe for difficulty is we could make the ores fly faster, more downwards. Right now, I think they take 1 step down for every frame. We could have them have a different delay for the down steps. That way they can speed up or slow down based on difficulty. So when we when the laser collides, okay, this just resets Y. This resets the ores Y. Let's go. or.hidden is true, and y is 0, and collected or goes up by 1. All that is the same, except we're going to do the hidden part. And then inside spawn or, let's actually do this. New or equals, what did we call the laser one? There's like available laser or something. First available laser index. First available or. And then if it was none, then we do this. And actually we will only need to append it to self when it gets created. So we're going to reuse them, basically. We're going to first try to reuse an old one, but if that was none, if we don't have any old ones that we're allowed to reuse, then we will create a new one. And if it gets to the end, we go none. Okay, yeah, one thing we'll also need to do is change the logic for flying off the bottom edge. If they fly off the bottom edge, we don't want them to respawn at the top. Oh, you know what? I think we just ended the round, but I pressed A again to shoot my laser. Let's try to let the round end. There we go. Okay. We should maybe change the start round button to be a different button than laser. That way you don't actually start the next round accidentally. That's interesting. How did we end up with... Oh, because I played twice, and reset doesn't reset score yet. Yeah. So when we move the ores, let's also say when they get to the bottom of the screen, we'll do a few things. One thing we want to do is track this as another thing. Self.ors missed 0. We'll count it as a missed ore, and then it'll factor into your score at the end of the level. We'll have it add up your score, and you'll get minuses for the ones you missed. I'd probably do some printing of the length of ores just to make sure that this reuse scheme is actually working how I'm thinking. If I understand correctly, this means we'll only ever have ore objects for all the visible ones on the display, plus potentially one that's waiting to be used. We'll never have more than that, if I understand correctly. Oh, don't need that. Let's just put a length in there. In our tick also, where we move the ores, it's actually in here. What? So here we're gonna go, we are gonna set it back to y0, but we're also gonna go self.hidden true and self.ors missed. Oh, but it's not self, so game object.ors missed plus equals 1. Reset, we should reset that inside reset also. Honestly, there's a bunch of these things we should be doing in reset as well. We probably need like almost all of this stuff. Not state. Round time we want. Score we want, although we already got it part of the way. These ones may not matter as much. The times, I think, are the most important. Okay. Let's also print ors missed. And then we'll go ahead and self.score minus equals ors missed. Okay, there's the end of the round. I collected 4, I missed 2. That made my score 2. Let's work on the ors hit points. Right now it's just kind of one and done on all of them. We will start by just making it one and done with variables, which we have started doing. This is going to be in here. Check collisions, lasers. If it collides. Okay, so if it collides, we're going to go score plus 1. We're going to go or dot health minus equals 1. And then if or dot health less than equals 0, that is when we actually captured it. And when we capture it all the way, we're actually going to get another bonus score. So self.score, let's just say plus equals I don't know, let's call it 5 for now. And then inside spawn or, else if it was not none, we don't have to create it, but we do want to do some things to it, which is new or.health equals or health. That way its health gets reset. Let's hook up another button. Assume we have a B button? Yeah. Let's make B button start the game instead of A. We're not playing. We do these things. A button now shoots a laser, B button starts the round. That way we have different buttons. You can't accidentally start the round when you're meaning to shoot your laser. Oh, got hit. Oh, you know, the other thing is when we get hit, I think we respawn the ore right away at the top. We should not do that. We should count it as an ore missed, and we should... oh, there's the end of the round. We should count it as an ore missed, and we should also... minus your score sum, probably? Yeah, I think that seems nice. Minus your score sum. Guess the other thing we could do is, like, change the amount of damage that it does to your ship. But I do want to have, like, armor that you can increase your ship's health or, like, mitigate damage. Stuff like that, I think would be cool. Yeah, I think let's play with it on that side instead of at the ore. Let's just make that a constant 25 and play with it with power-ups, essentially. Yeah, so here it's just putting or.y 0. We'll also go or.hidden true. That way it will stop showing and then be eligible to be reused next time. So this should make it so that when the ore hits you, you still have to wait for the respawn timer, which is that 3 seconds right now. Okay, let's make a label that can show the end of round screen. Well, let's make an end of round screen, I guess. We're gonna see. Well, let's also do back where that collision was. We never did do the minus score. Let's do that. If ship collision health, let's go self.score minus equals I don't know, 3 maybe? I don't know. We'll play with the numbers. And also self.ors missed +1. So if you get hit by it, it counts as being missed. Okay, now let's make a game over. Well, not game over, but round over. The other thing is I do want the game to be pretty forgiving, like not difficult. I think what I want to do is like when you lose by your ship getting its health run out, I think all I'm going to do is just not, you don't collect any ores that round, but like you just get to keep playing from where you're at. It doesn't like start you over or anything. I think I want you to be able to just play, continually build progress, even if you lose around here or there. You can still just keep playing. I don't know, eventually we could make like hardcore mode, I guess, but I kind of like the idea of just, you know, keep going, essentially. You don't really lose your progress. I mean, right now we're not saving our progress in something persistent like NVM, so, you know, you will lose when it resets, but eventually we could also persist through NVM, and then we would save between saves as well. Between resets as well, rather. But yeah, if you keep playing, I want you to just keep building up. So I'm going to make a new group for the round end screen. That's a group. Inside of that group, it's going to have a label. I don't know. Eventually I might make multiple labels. For right now, I'm just going to stick with the one label and put everything in it. But I am going to make the group, that way if we do go to multiple labels, or if we add images or anything else to the round end screen, we'll be able to just add it to our group and not have to worry about it. This will be a label.label. Start with terminal.io.font. Empty text for now. Bitmap label. I'll just center it, I think. Yeah. So then when we want to show it, we'll just show the round end group. We hide it for now. And then when the round is over, do that. And then when we go to play the next round, we'll show it again. No, we want to hide it again. And then when we do actually end, yes, And we don't really need to print it if it's going to be on the screen. Go back to printing it if it's not working right or something, but... Oop. Module display text. Oh, missed it. Okay. Does not appear to have worked, but maybe it's the wrong color. Oh. So you have to set the text, not the label itself. I will explicitly declare the color. I don't know what the default is off the top of my head. Oh, got hit. Yeah, I do like the idea of changing the Y speed, basically, of the asteroids to make them... The harder they are, the faster they will move towards you, which will also throw off the speed that you need to, like, lead it in order to hit it with the laser. Still didn't really get our round end. So I guess, yeah, let's go back to printing it. We never appended it to self? We never appended it to the self group inside game. Yeah, we put the label on the round end group. We need to put the round end group onto the actual self group so that it can be shown on the display. How's it going, Gordy G? Here we go. There we go. Okay. Getting by? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So we probably want bigger. Definitely want YouTube to restart the music. Which tab did we? Over here. There we go. Okay, we're back. So we can either get a different font that's bigger, or for now we could actually just go scale 2. That will make it bigger. One of those like finishing touches kind of things you might do that could be kind of cool is on the round end screen, maybe we won't change the score throughout the round. Sometimes the video hitches there. I think on the actual screen that's not happening. That's just in the camera that's capturing it. There we go. That's looking a little nicer. One thing that could be cool though is maybe we don't track score as we go along. Instead, we only track the other metrics, and then on the end screen we like add up the score where you can kind of see it changing or whatever, you know, like lots of games will, you know, they tally up all the things that matter within the round, and then at the end they kind of like minus them from there and plus them into the score, or like minus them from there and minus them from the score. Just to kind of give you a sense of how your score got tabulated and just get to see it kind of running. Kind of cool. I think that's probably something we do after the fact, though. I don't necessarily want to spend too much time on that, because I could easily see just micromanaging the way it, you know, updates and animates the label and spending an hour or whatever on that. Oh, hey, we got a second one. Actually surprised we got a second one. Why did that happen? Oh, I see. Anybody got a guess? Our reset function needs to hide all the ors. Ooh, our label is actually on the bottom as well. We should probably give it a background, I guess, and put it on the top. So I think, how about for lasers and ors, if we were to prepend those instead of append, then those would be behind the round over label. So the thing is, this ore doesn't reset. When I press B, it just picks up right where it's at. It doesn't get reset, but we actually do want it to. Oh, you know what we should also do is make sure the round ends if you lose your health, and we show the label. Oh yeah. Oh no, we get to the end actually. Nope, okay, we need to show the health, or I mean not the health, but the round over stuff. Health equals fuel. Not quite. Health is health is more like health. You don't really have fuel in this game. You just get to move as much as you want. But the health, when you run out of it, the round ends, and you lose it by getting hit by the ores. So like I could move around as much as I want, and it doesn't cost anything. But when I get hit, then I lose health with the progress up there. And when we lose all of our health, we end the round. And in this case, we didn't actually hit anything, so we also end in the red. Be kind of funny maybe to make this red instead of white in that case. Okay, so the next thing I want to do that kind of closes the loop on this whole game is really the remaining major feature that doesn't exist is being able to upgrade the ship, and then of course the levels getting harder. But I don't want to start making the levels get harder until we have the ship upgrades, because that's what's going to make it so that they're not too hard. We should probably break out round score from total score. This is round score. What? No. This file. And here, when we reset, we actually only want to reset the round score, not the total score. Special weapon bar that has limited shots would be more difficult, making sure you don't waste special ones, like double or tripler or spreader. I do have in mind the upgrades. I do want some to be like multiple lasers and stuff like that. I hadn't considered making those like a spendable resource, but more just like an upgrade that you purchase, you spend your collected ore on it, and then you have it. It would be interesting if it was like limited more though. That would be kind of cool. Maybe you buy a power-up that's a temporary power-up, and then when you spend it, it gives you X amount of seconds. It might be interesting. This should probably just be called reset round. Seriously, why are we looking at 1,400 files? Yeah. Open source equals build your own upgrade packs. That's true. Yeah, I definitely do encourage folks to hack away at it once I get it published. I am, like, intentionally, it's time constrained, and so, you know, I won't have time to do 100% of everything that sounds fun, or even everything that I've thought of. But I do want to put it out there and encourage folks to tinker away at it further. I think this is a good way to, like, get your hands dirty, so to speak, and, like, have a functional project that you can hack onto and actually, you know, do something fun with it with your changes and see how they work. So we want to, let's start tackling the upgrade stuff. We're gonna want to have another group for upgrade stuff. Arachnoid, that was one of my favorite arcade games. I don't know if I am familiar with that one, I don't think. I'll have to check it out. So, upgrade shop group equals new group. So, to start with, let's start super basic. Let's start with just like two things. Maybe the two things you can upgrade to start with are going to be the health of the ship, so that it takes more than 4 impacts for you to run out of health, and the amount of damage that the lasers do to the ores. Let's do those two things first. Once we get all the infrastructure in place to be able to handle those two, then it'll be pretty easy, I think, to add more to that. I want to say I made a list-like thing. Here, scroll box, vertical scrolling, no. List select. It has org in the name, but it looks like I didn't move it over yet. It's also not passing actions. And doesn't have any releases. Oh, okay. I have seen a game like this. Usually the name I see it under is like Breakout, which I guess is probably slightly different, but yeah. It is the same basic premise of like the pong paddle at the bottom, the balls bouncing up, and then the bricks that you have to hit with the ball to break them. Although these ones I guess aren't breaking, are they? They're just giving you points when they hit, so this is a bit more like pinball maybe than Breakout. Or do they? Okay, the blue one broke. Maybe they just have a certain amount of hits each, and yellow ones have a lot. Or maybe yellow ones just don't break, but the other colors do? Looks like probably that. Breakout was a clone, okay. Nice. Yeah, that game's pretty sweet. I do like playing that game. Multi-ball, that's definitely the coolest time in that game, is when you get the multi-ball action. My favorite. Nice. Yeah, that would be a fun one. We're gonna use this list select. Gotta look at an example though, because I don't remember how it works off the top of my head. Simple test. So we're gonna have some items. Drop items. Laser power. Ship. I'm gonna just say ship health. Eventually we might have durability or something, which doesn't increase your total health, but maybe decreases the amount you take when you get hit. I don't know, kind of a subtle difference, but maybe just two different levers to play with. We'll start with those two for now. Create the list select, give it the items. Fix this and this. Drop list select. Pinned it to a group, so let's make a shop group. Actually, we already have shop group. I'm actually just going to change this to be shop group instead of upgrade shop group. Shop group. Append self.shop list select. Yeah, let's go center. Equivalent to scaling the health bar. Yeah, having a bigger health bar is the health that I want to do now, and then the durability is like each impact does less damage. And we might eventually introduce, I haven't decided for sure if I want alien ships, like, I haven't decided if I want it to just be dodging asteroids, or if eventually there's alien ships that spawn and shoot lasers back at you. I don't know for sure. Oh. That in the middle. Drop group hidden. True. Might make a background for it or something eventually. For now, I'm just going to let it splash on top and see what it does. We'll hook up some more buttons, I think. Let's go Y. And this one is going to be like this. If you're not playing and you press Y, then we're going to go self.round end group dot hidden equals true. So hide that, and then self.shop group hidden false to show that. We also, at this time, we're probably going to want up and down arrows. I'm actually just going to leave it as right and left for right now, just so we can test it faster. We are going to want a new state, I think. State shop 3. When this happens, we're going to go self.current state. Current state. Actually, I think what we want is, I think I want the Y button to toggle between the round end and the shop state. So what we're going to do is, if round end group is hidden, not hidden, then we make it hidden. Yeah, we swap them basically. Else swap them. So Y button will swap back and forth. And when this one is showing stage shop, and then the other one, we're just going to go back to waiting to play. Okay, so now Y button should toggle back and forth between the shop and just the round end stuff. So then on our arrows, we are going to now want if self.current state game state playing. That's when we send it to the ship. Elif shop I'll have to figure out what the API is. There's like, I don't know, it's like set selection or move selection down. Say right goes down. We'll say left goes up. Yeah, let's start with that. Eventually we're gonna need a select button to like say, yes, I want to spend my ore on this one. We're also going to want to probably show the current OR on the screen. I should be able to go to this now. Oh, yeah, there we go. Left and right don't work, though. Hmm. Is there anything more in the API? Did we not do something? Sleep? Doesn't seem like it. Not going to the state correctly? Seems like it would be, though. Wonder if it's weird because we didn't actually finish a round? So if we think about this, first time we pressed it there, round end group probably was hidden. We went to here, we showed it, we hid the shop group, we set it to waiting to play. When I pressed it again, then it was false. We set it to false. Therefore, we put round end hidden true and shop hidden false. Set the state to current state. Oh, right, okay, we did this. So when we release it, we're gonna send the events. We weren't actually doing before, and so I wonder, do we actually need this? Is this actually doing anything? I mean, I think we weren't calling it, so I don't think it would have been doing anything. But we probably actually don't want it to happen. We kind of changed it to where we had those booleans, we set them here, and then we checked them inside GameTick. But these are more like single-shot actions. Galaga and Space Invaders were huge hits at the time. Can't go wrong with space shooters. Raiden was a great game if you want special weapon ideas. Chock full of them. I think I've heard of Raiden. Raiden I only know of as the lightning guy in Mortal Kombat, I think. I like their panel. Oh wow, yeah, they get crazy with it, huh? Okay, yeah, I have played some games like this. I don't know if I don't think it was this same name. I can't even remember the name of the ones I would have played, but I've played some like this. Nice. That's pretty cool. Okay. I think this should make it to where we actually can move the shop selector. So the first press is actually not going to do anything because technically it's showing the round end that doesn't have anything visible. Second press will, though. Yeah. Now we can go back and forth in this list. And I guess the A button will be our select maybe. So we'll say here okay, so we're gonna make this round collected OR, and we're also gonna have a total. Plus equals the round collected OR. So now I'm gonna go again bare minimum. There's plenty of time to clean this up. I mean, there will be plenty of time to clean it up after the fact, I mean. I'm gonna aim for functional only though, and I'm gonna say in our shop we're gonna show a few more things. One of them will be a label. Where's our shop stuff? There it is. So for one thing, I am going to go ahead and make a background for the shop, and I'm just going to use vector.io to make a background. CircuitPython docs vector.io. No. Palette. One color. Color is black. Actually, let's go dark. Go dark gray. Display width and height. X and Y 0, 0. Okay, now that's in our group before our list select, so that will be the last thing, the bottom thing, so it'll be behind. Let's go Terminal IO font, scale 2 again. Text equals empty for now. Anchor point 0.5x 0.0y. Good position. Here, display size width over to y. We're just gonna put this at the top, so we'll just say like 10. Oop, shop group, append, shop label. And I guess we should maybe make like show shop or something. Didn't know how you could do a display dimension in that syntax. Oh, anchor point and anchor position? Or display size. I did create the display size variable, but the display object has height and width, is where it came from. Like display here that you get from board has width and height. And I just put them in a tuple and use them for making stuff either the same size or having something be relative, like halfway across or halfway down. Show shop. Show shop there. And then this is gonna update. So I'm gonna just go LP equals current laser power and HP equals current hit points. And then or so laser power, hit points, or those are the three things we're going to show to start with. This needs to be an F string. Total collected or. And then here's where we need these two things. So I think what we'll do is on the ship. Do we want that on the ship? I mean, I think of it as the ship's power, but truthfully, it kind of is just a game concept. I don't know that we need to put it on the actual ship object. I think let's go, let's do this. Self dot stats. I'm going to call this a dictionary stats. The two things we're going to start with are laser power we're going to start at 1. Hit points. Ship hit points. Or I guess we called it health in a bunch of places. Probably do that. Do like HP for the abbreviation, but I started on 100. Okay, we should be able to see like some zeros and stuff. Oh, nope, invalid syntax. Line 158. Oh, right. Do that for now. Okay. So we have too many things for one row. So let's go new line there instead. Display using that array tuple is neat. I gotcha. Just read up on F strings. Looks so much easier. Oh yeah, F strings are a big thing. I resisted using F strings for a really long time, honestly, and then finally came around to start using them, and I think they're super convenient. Okay, there we go. So we have 0 ore, we have 1 laser power, we have 100 hit points. We can move up and down. We can click A on one, and it will say click buy. So we're gonna have to tune the way that the costs work over time. I think that's a thing that will definitely take more time than I could fit in the initial jam. To start with, I think what I'll do is, let's say each laser power costs maybe 10 ores, and then let's say each hit point costs 5 ores. I don't know, I'm throwing those out. Let's just say that's what we're gonna start with though. So click buy. So first thing we want is, we want to know which thing they're trying to buy. We want to make sure they have enough ore to buy it, and then we want to process the purchase. So let's go if self dot chopless select dot selected item if self shop dot selected item ship health. If self dot total collected ore greater than 10, because I said I would just want it to cost 10 per. Eventually we could maybe make this scale, so the higher your laser power gets, the more it costs, but for right now, let's just go 10. If it's greater than or equal to 10, then we are allowed to buy it. So now we go self.total collected ore minus equals 10. We go self.stats laser power plus equals 1. We basically have a similar thing in here, except we'll say 5. 5 ship health plus 1. Okay. So now we need to actually set some of this stuff. So when the round begins, or when the reset happens, we set this to starting health. Instead, what we want to do is self.stats ship health. think you can update the max value. I'm not 100% sure. Hopefully we can do that. And then collision between laser and ore here. We're gonna go ore minus equals self dot stats laser power instead of 1. We already do have if the ore is less than or equal to 0, then we capture it, we get the +5. Let's make that +3 maybe. Okay, and we're still spawning ores that only have 1 hit point, so it's not going to actually change the number of hits required just yet, but we're still part of the way there. Let's go ahead and start a round. Oh, my arrow keys don't work. Interesting, so we do need those events. That is really weird, though, because I could have swore... I guess I must have misunderstood the way that was working. Luckily, we just commented them. I don't know why it was... It's so weird, though, because we weren't calling left arrow button event. Didn't think. There we go. Might be nice to have a countdown for the round so you know like when the round's going to be over. There we go. So we got collected 6, missed 0, got 24 score, 24 total score. We could go Y to go to the shop. Ship health costs 5, so we could buy one of those. Oh, you know what we didn't do is update the label. Oh, but we update it if I on and off the shop again. Let me go ahead and do it before I forget, but I won't save yet. We'll see how that goes. I'll try not to save yet. Basically, we want this stuff. My chime keeps lagging on me. Okay. And then when we buy something here, if we were successful, we also want to update shop label. Okay, not gonna save. We should still be able to test this. I'll go buy the ship health. Nothing happens because we didn't have that yet, but I'll go Y to go back to this. Go Y again. Now we only have 1 ore, and we have 101 health. Ah. Value must... We set the value before the max value? 297? Oh no, that's 253. But it's different because I've saved it. Value must between minimum and maximum. Let's go look at progress bar and see if we can update the max. That's what we'll need ultimately, is to be able to update the maximum. Maximum. Return type. That works. F-strings are mandatory. No, F-strings aren't mandatory. You can use string.format and it's fine. Really, there's a difference. Oh, let's see. Why resist F-strings? Oh, I resisted them for a while because they were not enabled on the smallest devices, SAMD21s without very much RAM. And I wrote a library or something at one point and then had to like change it because it didn't work on the smallest device. So from then on, I kind of just swore off of them for a while. I was like, why should I use this if it's not going to work everywhere? But then I started using it and I was like, well, because it's really convenient and the syntax is much nicer, that's the reason why to use it, even when it's not supported everywhere. If you know you're not trying to use one of the places it's not supported, then I kind of changed my view on it to go for it because it's super convenient. But also, more recently, it got enabled on all those small devices anyway, so all of them now have F-strings, and so there's even more reason to just use it everywhere. Like the difference between new option and deprecation forcing you to use the new method. I prefer deprecation, but then almost instantly code breaks all over the world overnight. Yeah. So there's a difference between not using something and resisting it, also resisting the mandating of F-strings. So F-strings are mandatory. I don't think they're mandatory. Pylint might complain, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. But I don't look at them as mandatory. They have become the default way I write strings if I'm compiling them together. It used to be string format and now it's F-strings. Are we ready to? Yeah, I think we're ready to test. We don't have anything here. We're back to beginning. Oh no. It still has no attribute maximum. So is it, maybe we can't change it? Weird that it went to Brent. So this extends progress bar base. Since tile grid. Yeah, has a property but not a setter. Okay, we can't actually update it. So what we'll do is create it in the reset round, I guess. This isn't actually true. We hard-coded the sizes. We remove it. Then maybe go ahead and set it to none. What is this mad about? Unresolved attribute. Started on none. It's not none. Remove it from the self group. Set it to none. Garbage collect. Then make a new one. Max value. Stats. Ship. Health. So we make a new one with the correct size each time. Oop. Attribute maximum. Well, yeah, we can't do that. Put up progress bar. This will already set it to health, I guess, so we actually don't really need to do that. There we go. You know, the next power-up that I'm going to add is not laser power, but laser amount. We'll have to come up with better ways to phrase these things. Right now, we're limited to only one laser being on the screen at once. You have to wait for it to fly off the top of the screen before you can shoot another one. One of our power-ups will allow you to have more lasers, though, at once. Maybe we'll call it, like, laser cooldown system or something. So we did get 5 ores, which means we should have enough to buy 1 health. We did update this time, so ore is now 0, hit points is 101. Go back to here, we go B button to play again, and we should have 101 health. So I guess I should actually start getting hit. Feels a little slower. Not sure what happened. Where's missed 2? Just go ahead and start again. Oh, we're still not clearing the ores at the end of the round. Nice. So we're left at 1 hit point now. Yeah, it definitely feels like it has slowed down. The thing we could do is turn off some of the prints. Let's see. Hide all the ores when we reset the round. This way, when the new round starts, there won't be any showing. It's an option. Yeah, think there is a Pylint option that will complain about it, but I don't recall if we have it on or in what contexts we have it on. Yeah, that's a good point, Argon Blue, as well. I think there are differences between CircuitPython behavior of f-strings and CPython behavior, which is ultimately actually a difference between MicroPython's f-string behavior and CircuitPython. And it gets even more convoluted if you go back in the past some, because I think CircuitPython got f-string support before MicroPython did. It's one of the things that actually got developed on our side of the fence and then eventually made its way into MicroPython, I believe, although I'm not 100% sure. And I didn't work on it specifically, so I would not necessarily be the one to know. Yeah, this is definitely faster. I wonder what slowed us down. Oh. Only got 4. We don't have enough to get anything, so let's just start over. Oh, it's still here. Why did that not work? My goal is just to leave one of the ores on the screen when the round ends. And then start the next round. Huh. Okay, I think I know what happened is that spawn ore should set the Y to 0. I think we were setting the Y to 0 somewhere else. A couple other places, actually. We should be doing it here. So it's hiding and then showing when the round starts, but it's keeping its XY. Well, it's keeping its Y at least. Now it should work, though. I might eventually have the ores pass through the walls. Right now they bounce. Might be nice if they flew through to the other side, though. Try to let the round end with one showing. I can actually still see it back there. Buy a ship health. There we go. Somehow we ended up with more ores being eligible on the screen at once. I'm not sure how we did that. I guess, I mean, it's because it's going slower. We should remove the bullets at the end of the round as well. The lasers. So the good news is I think each successive round, it hasn't really gotten any slower again. But every round past the first one, so second through whatever round we're on now, they have all been slower than the first one, but they seem to be about equal to each other. So I should be able to buy a laser power. That went up to 2, and I should be able to buy another ship health. So let's go look at start round. How's it going, Paul? Good morning. Now, why do we slow down some? Really not much happening there. How many of these are we getting? Any, actually. Hiding more. 3. We are still printing the length, and we are at 3 currently. Or 0. Oh, that's the score collected this round. Is it just the number of ores? But then, because I feel like the number of ores was kind of a proxy to the slowing down, because the slower it is, the more likely that our 3 seconds has elapsed before the current ore makes it off the screen, which means we're more likely to spawn a second one while one is still showing. What I'm gonna do is just start a round with a higher spawn rate. So right now it's just hard coded to 0.3. Let me do let's go 1 per second. Much faster, 3 times as fast. I want to see if this will just be slower on the first round. That doesn't seem to be working. Okay, definitely have... Oh, okay, we're on 10 seconds now. did this wrong. So we don't want times 10. Well, we actually want 1.0 over the rate, I think, right? Yeah. It's 1 second divided by the rate. So when the rate is 1 per second, then it should be 1 over 1, which means we spawn 1 per second. Still not working, though. Well, I need to put it back. But it definitely 100% for sure does slow down the more ores are on the screen at once. That is very clear. So I think we probably just slowed down. I don't know why we slowed down specifically. Well, I mean, I guess we slowed down because we got the second ore. And then once we started slowing down, it started making it more likely that we got the third. Let's try using image load instead of on this bitmap for our ores. Our ores? Right now we're just using on this bitmap, which I believe takes a longer amount of time when you want to update its location on the screen. It has to like read the pixels from the disk instead of having them in RAM already. Okay. I think that pretty much... Oh, we'll change this as well. Yeah. Depends on how much SRAM you have to spare. Sometimes bitmaps are the only choice. True. Yeah, if we have big images or we're using up a lot of RAM, then there's really no option other than the on-disk bitmaps. But I don't believe I have too much in RAM yet. And my images are fairly small, so I might be able to get by with image loading them into RAM. And if that still doesn't work, we might play with some other options as well, like We could maybe make a bitmap that's the size of the display and use bitmap_tools.blit to cut and paste asteroids into it in their correct spot. I don't know if they go on top of each other very well, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. Let's try it like this first and see. The other thing is I don't need it to go super fast. I don't necessarily want more than a few on the display at once, but I do want it to not slow down too much. So yeah, it is faster. It's not as slow as it was. Seems like we topped out at like 5 this time. Whereas before we definitely got more. 6. Last time around we were at 10. We definitely went faster. I wonder if it would be quicker inside of game tick if we went auto refresh on and off. I don't actually have the display though. Maybe if we move all of these and then refresh. Maybe it will take less time because it won't like re-render the entire screen in between moving each ore. Instead, it will move them all and then re-render once. The idea, at least. That's the hypothesis, at least. Say hypothesis is probably a better word for it because I have no idea if it's actually going to work. No, that makes it slower, and it also makes the ship feel very sluggish. I doubt this will make it better, but Sure if you actually need to call refresh or just set auto refresh back to true. Seems like that works. That does seem to be a little bit better. We are still slower than initially, but remember we can also still tweak the delays for how fast things move. It's interesting that we start out at the slower speed rather than starting out quick again. The other thing is if you're better at the game, you'll hit the asteroids, which will get rid of them. Should speed it back up, although it doesn't appear to be, actually. It starts to make the laser take a very long time. We have like OR update delay, we could lower that still. We have frame delay, we could lower that still. That would ultimately speed up the game. I don't know how much overhead groups add. Theoretically, we could get rid of the group that is each OR and make it just directly the tile grid. I also wonder if we could make... Maybe we don't need to load it each time. I don't know if that will actually make it any faster. Possibly, though, we could load it once and just make multiple tile grids from the one loaded bitmap. Okay. Let's just see if 2x does anything. There is also a refresh time mechanism I'm not super familiar with. This doesn't feel too fast to me, so like, and it does feel faster than the previous one, so maybe what we can do is decrease those delays as the levels get harder, since you're more likely to have more ores. It up with length 5. Target frames per second. Let's say guess we just turn this off all the way. Don't turn it on, but call refresh. Say 30 frames per second. For one thing, I don't know. I think some of the rest of the stuff will be broken. Like, we're not showing the game yet. If I start it, we will. Oh, that's very slow. That is way, 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 way slower. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. That feels a lot slower. It's getting a lot of skipped refreshes. Huh. Not sure anything was really better than just auto refresh true, use the image load, and set the delays lower. Oh, this is still really slow. Right. Another thing I want to do is maybe make the laser use image load as well. That I think helps some, because that makes it so the laser also gets sped up, which actually allows the ores to move faster as well. So I think the ship is the only other thing that is non-dismit map, and we are moving it back and forth each frame. So we could also try doing image load on it as well. This is Unexpected Maker Tiny Pico Explorer Shield, which I have stacked the Tiny Pico V2. I want to try to port your game program. Nice. Yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. As long as the screen is a similar size, which it looks to me like it is, then basically you should just need to change whatever pins you're using for buttons. If the buttons are not individual pins, like if they're on a shift register or something, then you need to set up the shift register logic. But inside CodePy, you should be able to just say like left button is down, true or false, you know, right arrow button event, game A button event, game B button event. Since you can swap in your own keys and stuff, the rest of the game should just work. I don't know what other limitations there may be if it's a different platform or anything. 320 by 320, nice. Yeah, I think that's bigger. If I recall correctly, the Pico system I have here is 240, 240. But I want to say a lot of the code is like relative to the screen size, so I don't think it should change too much having a bigger one. If you had a smaller one, it might make it harder to play because you couldn't fit as much on there, but let's see, palette, these are going to be equal. So I think I'm going to head out after this. I am pretty happy with the progress I've made. It's still, I would say, maybe not a complete game at this point. Really, the main things remaining now are just like actually increasing the level difficulty each time and then adding more power-ups, right? And those are kind of like, I don't know, I look at those more as like game development than software development. Basically, that's got to just take playtesting and figuring out what feels right for the power curve and all of that kind of stuff. the actual functional program, I feel like, is in a pretty good state. Sure, there's things here and there we could still improve upon. Definitely if we were doing like polishing, there's lots of stuff we could make just visually look better, but or is the actual scaffold, if you will, of the game itself, I'm feeling pretty good. $240. Okay, yeah, it should be. I think that's the same then. That's, if I'm recalling correctly, that's the size of the Pico system as well. So it may just go through. All you'd really have to change is the buttons to be however they are on that device, assuming they're not the exact same, which it's likely they're not the exact same, but they're probably something similar. Change the pin names, maybe make a shift register if you need. Yeah, we need a transparent. So now everything is image loaded, nothing is on disk bitmapped. Oh, wow, yeah, the ship does move a lot faster. Yeah, honestly, this is probably too fast at this point. Maybe for like a very, very later level, once you're like really powered up. The other thing is I think I'll slow the ores down on level difficulty as well. We do still have an interesting phenomenon where the second round feels slower than the first round. What could be causing that? Oh. I mean, surely the label having a bunch of stuff in it and being hidden does not slow down the updating of the other stuff, does it? I don't think that should slow it down to have a bunch of text but be hidden. But let's try emptying the text out when the round gets reset. See if we go the same speed round 2 as round 1 now. And that's the only thing I could think is that label having a bunch of text in it, even though it's hidden and not showing, somehow could slow it down. I mean, I don't really think it could, but I have like no other ideas. And it seems pretty stark that round 2... You know, I do think we're the same speed now. I really think that might have been it. That's super weird, though. That is super weird. I did not think that would affect it. That's good to know, though. Keep your labels empty when they're not needed. Huh. I mean, I would say, like, maybe don't treat that as, like, 100% fact yet. It seems anecdotally to be the case, but that's still also really weird. I'm not sure I believe it all the way, but it seems that way. So after the stream, are you going to publish? Yeah, in fact, I'll go ahead and publish now. I'm going to wrap it up here pretty soon, but I will go ahead and publish it. New repository. Let's call this, I think I just called it Space Miner. Eventually we should probably come up with a better name. Space Miner game. No micro transactions or NFTs involved. I don't know why I put that, but I think it's funny. Sounds like the font is getting rendered in hidden labels. Yeah, I mean, it must be, but it's weird because I don't think we're updating it. And I wouldn't have thought it would, like, take time during a refresh. Must be, though. Seemingly. We could, I'll try to run a test on this. I'll try to, like, isolate that to a specific test, like, get it outside of my game, get it with just a label and a non-disk bitmap moving around or something, and I'll load it up with a boatload of text, and then try again with a little bit. I'll try to make a more quantifiable example for that to actually see if that is true or not, or if it just feels like it and maybe it's anecdotal only. Let's go. I will take the CircuitPy and the Space Miners and the ship and the ore and the blue laser. All of these. We will head over to Game Jam. Paste. I have this code in here. I don't think I showed it on the stream. I was working on this last night. I don't think I'm going to end up using it. But I'll throw it out there and see if it sounds interesting. Does anybody remember old school video games? In order to save your progress, some games had like a code. They would give you a code at the end of the round, and then at the beginning of the game, you would have the option to put the code in to like get yourself back to the same place you were before. So like you beat level 1, it gives you a little code, you know, 4 or 5 or 6 characters or something, just a random looking code of characters. And then when you come back tomorrow, if you enter that code, then you get to start on level 2. I had a game like that. Is it? I think it's Amazing Penguin, which maybe one of these days we'll make a CircuitPython implementation of that. Yeah, this was totally it. After you beat the level, it gave you a code, and then you could enter the code at the beginning, and this was like a way to save progress without persistent memory. Like, it didn't actually have to save your score or your levels or anything. It just let you put in those codes to get to the next level. So I wrote this script, and I was thinking about maybe doing something like that, where there would be a code, an alphabetical code, like this type of thing, that kind of equates to a certain number of ores collected that you could then spend on your ship. So my idea was kind of like spit out these codes as you collect ores, and then when you come back to the game after resetting it, you could input your code. That would essentially give you back all those ores that you collected, which you could then go and spend on those ship upgrades again. So this would kind of give you a way to save your progress without persistent storage, because each time you collect more ore, you know, the code that it would show you would be bigger to reflect that bigger amount. So I started making a mechanism that does that. It's very rudimentary. It basically just swaps out the digits 0 through 9 with some random letters that I did. It also uses an alphabet, which I happen to reverse, but you could shuffle it further if you wanted. It basically converts your number by just swapping the digits. So like a 0 digit is a P, a 1 digit is an A, a 2 digit is a W, so on. And then I added a prefix and a suffix that are both like kind of checksum type things. A sum of the whole number and then a sum of each of the digits added together. And then mod by 26 and take that index inside of this list that we end up with here. So the result is it spits out these random looking codes, but each of these codes is actually equated to a number of a score, essentially a number of ore that you have collected. So I was thinking you could put in your code and then that would let you kind of get your progress back, but I think most likely instead of that, what I'm gonna do is probably just implement the NVM storage, just like we did on the Octopus game. I don't have an SD card on the Pico system. There's no SD card on that, although I did see this one that Paul put in the chat here, the Unexpected Maker one. It does look like there's an SD card on the back of that. So that one could maybe make use of the SD card for storing the progress. But yeah, I had this idea last night, and I started kind of brainstorming, just spitting out this code to see what it would look like. I think it would be functional, but I think I decided against doing it. Yeah, that's basically what I did. That's exactly what it is, DJ. DJ Devin, it's substituting the P for the 0 and the A for the 1 and the W for the 2 and so on and so forth, and then just putting two different types of checksums, one at the beginning, one at the end, to make it slightly more than just a basic substitution, but not much, obviously, right? So, yeah, this is in the repo. It's there. That's what I was doing with it, but I probably won't end up using it. The actual code you need to play the game are the CircuitPy, the Space Miner helpers, and then the bitmaps, like Chip Transparent is actually the one you want. Is actually the same as Chip, looks like. Gray or 0, blue laser. Yeah. Those 3 bitmaps plus the 2 code files. You don't need this level codes in order to work, but that's what it's there for. If anybody sees it in the repo, that's why it's there. I am going to go make a .getignore. I'm going to go ignore art / because this has the set that I took the ship from is like a set of assets that I bought. I bought all these as a set, so there's a bunch of different things inside of it. We may go back and use some more of these. I don't know. There's stuff for power-ups. There's a couple other types of lasers and things. It might be nice to use some of these, but I don't want to check it in because I have permission to use it. I bought a license to use it, but not a license to just share it as a full pack. I'm allowed to use it in software, but not just reshare it. Coming along nicely. Also been cherry picking your high-level approach. Taking lots of notes, thanks. Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I'm happy that it's been helpful. Explorer Shield has an SD card XD card slot. Doesn't CircuitPython have basic hashing library you could use, add a salt, etc.? Probably. I think there is hashlib. Yeah, I think there is hashlib. I don't know exactly. I don't think I've used it before on CircuitPython, but I think it exists. I wanted it to be a good mix of like easy but not too easy. Like, I also don't want it to be super sophisticated, because the other good thing about that is I could actually use it for testing, right? If I did implement that system, that would mean I could put in a code at the beginning of my testing session, just give myself 1,000 points and go and spin them all real quick, right? And then start the next level and, you know, make sure that all the power-ups are behaving correctly after I've spent all that stuff without having to play it. So I do also want it to be relatively easy to guess the codes. I don't want it to just be the number by itself, but I do want it so that I could guess, not really guess, but just calculate those codes ahead of time and then input them for testing. Basically just like the old Rosebud in The Sims, right? Just give yourself a bunch of money to spend and then be able to test different parts of the game. No need to make it too complicated, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I may end up just doing, I don't know, we may work something in with it, but I may end up just doing the NVM storage. It might make sense on a different kind of game where the progress was actually levels. What I started doing is, as I thought about it more, I was like, really the progress is the resources that you spend on the ship, not so much the level that you're on. Whereas like Amazing Penguin, which is where this idea came into my mind from. I'm sure there were other games that took this approach, though, because it's a pretty genius way to save game state without actually having persistent storage. That one is very level-based, right? Level 1 is always level 1. Level 2 is always level 2. you know, there's 300 levels in the game or whatever, you just play straight through them. So each code equates to a level, whereas we are a little bit more fluid than that. Our progression is actually the points, the resources we're spending to upgrade the ship. Which it could work. That's what I built this for, is just basically encoding numbers, equating to those points. But can you say where you bought the license to use the set of bitmaps? Yeah, totally. I got them from a thing called Kenny Game Assets. There are some free ones, so maybe this is a free set as well. You could look through here. Space. Looks like Space Shooter right here. Yeah, this looks like the exact one that I used. Yeah. So it looks like it is available for free, so I'll even go ahead and drop the link here. When I bought it as part of a set. Like, I bought one of these bundles right here. Basically, this is the exact thing I got. Download all assets in one bundle. Kenny Game Assets. And there at the time there was like a bundle 1 and a bundle 2 and a bundle 3 or something. I actually have bought 3 of them over the years, but this one came in one of them. Looks like it's available for free to download if you want, though, which is super cool. They're all super permissively licensed, especially if you buy the license. Like, you're totally allowed to use it in your own games and distribute it as part of your own games. It's just the thing that's restricted is like sharing it as a group of assets altogether. So like, I couldn't make my own game assets bundle and give this away as part of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's lots of great stuff in there. If folks are interested, those Kenny Game Assets bundles, those are really good for just like get a crud load of assets for all types of games that you could ever want to make, and then just as inspiration strikes, you want to make a game, you can just go look through and pull one of them and, you know, get to work without worrying about the artwork. You can always go in and refine the art later on as well. You know, there's always going to be stuff you could do to improve the art. But this gives you a starting point that actually looks pretty good. And they're all, you know, it's like $20 I think I spent on those bundles and got hundreds of different assets, you know, probably dozens of different game sets of like different types of games. Some 2D, some 3D, all kinds of different stuff. So we want to run get init, initialized the empty repo. We want to add the git add.getIgnore. I'll just commit this way. Or not. CS enable. Shall see. It's like a good bundle of pixel art's becoming a lost art form. Yeah. There's lots of good stuff in there. There's also some very, very small ones that are like only 16 by 16 tiles and stuff. So those are good for PyGamer sized tile map games. I have some plans in that realm as well with tile map games, and there's some good like pixel art assets for that kind of stuff. Well, what are we doing here? Go terminal style. Git commit -m. Git ignore. Check out main. Branch main. Git remote add foamy guy. Git push foamy guy main. Oh. Hmm. Yeah. Can't do that. Try to let this do all of its setup stuff and get this pushed, but it's like stuck loading. Updating Python interpreter. Nice, already downloaded Space Shooter. I did. I have tweaked them a couple. So you'll want to. I mean, first of all, they're PNGs in the thing you download. So you'll have to convert them to. You would have to convert them to bitmap. You'll want to use the ones that are in my repo though. Once I can manage to get it pushed, because I already converted them to bitmap. I also set the background transparency color, which the code assumes that it will be the 0th index. Yeah, for sure. Thanks, DJ Devin. Have a great weekend to you as well. I'm going to try to get this pushed, but it's really not wanting to let me, is it? Local changes refresh. Forming VCS refresh. Never had it get stuck like this. Never could figure out how to make real building in Starbound or Terraria, or how to even build something with that front view that look realistic, but always like the art style, except for the platforms. Oh, orthographic or something? Orthogonal? Maybe that's orthogonal. Invalidate caches and restart. I don't have a great feeling about it, but okay. I feel like we forgot the and restart portion of... Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, just gotta start smack talking it. There we go, and it's actually gonna work because these are colored. So yeah, that did actually work. Can I upvote this thing? What are you? Do you have upvotes? Upvote. I don't really want to watch it. I just want to upvote it. Upvote? Duplicates? Upvote? I can't do it. Oh well. Can't vote as a guest. Please log in. Yeah, I'm not gonna log in right now. Oh, we're still indexing. We'll let it finish indexing. Yeah, those assets are good too if you want to practice game development on other platforms as well. Like for a while, I got into JavaScript game development, and it was good to be able to just pick up a group of assets and build a game prototype from it without worrying about graphics, but still have something that looks pretty nice. A lot of fun to play with them. Definitely happy for buying those bundles. I want to just push without waiting. I guess we'll wait it out. I'm gonna head out after this though, so thanks everybody for watching. So we get this pushed, people will be able to play with the code. I may still go back and tinker with this some, but probably not for a little while. I'll probably set it down and leave it alone for a bit, and maybe come back to it after a while. We'll see though. I do think I would like to actually build out a few more of the power-ups and making the levels get harder. Right now we have the infrastructure that would allow us to make the levels get harder by changing those variables, but we are actually still hard-coded on the difficulty, so we're not actually utilizing it to make them harder. Those two things I would like to do though. Add a couple more power-ups and make the levels get harder. And then once it did reach that point, that would be pretty much the original plan of what I wanted to get into it at the time. So I figure I did pretty good though. For about just under 5 hours, we got it to this point. It's pretty good. So yeah, thanks again everybody for watching. Also, just a reminder, if anybody else is interested in participating in some kind of community game jam later on, not right now, obviously, not today, not this week, but maybe in a couple of months or something like that. If folks are interested in that, let me know. You can ping me over on Discord if you want, or just let me know in the meeting or the chat or wherever. If we do get enough interest, we had a couple folks yesterday, so I think we probably will do this at some point, but if we get enough interest in that, then at some point I think I'll organize a community game jam where we can all build games, and then at the end of it we'll do like a show and tell type thing or whatever, where we can all have a couple of minutes to get on a stream and share our game, play, show how to play through it, show where to download the code for it so other people can play it, that kind of stuff. I think that will be a lot of fun. So if folks are interested in that, let me know. That is it for me today. Hope everybody has a good day and a good weekend and all that stuff. I will catch you all next time.